So we all know Mike D'Antoni doesn't care about defense. He didn't care about it with the Suns. He hasn't cared about it with the Rockets. That has mainly been Jeff Bzdelik's job, and he does not work for the Rockets anymore. I remember a bunch of dudes got canned, and he either was in that or he left. He's not here. This is the point. He is with the Pelicans now, and the Rockets have needed him because defensively without him, they've sucked. They've been really bad to start this. They've had, of course, a gargantuan amount of points allowed to the Wiz, and there was like 40 points allowed to Miami after one quarter and whatever else. And, I mean, you know, they've been up and down defensively. Last season, they were mid-tier. Year before that, they were great. The year before the 65 wins, they were better than I thought they were going to be. Whatever. The point is, they're really bad on defense right now. And I guess one thing to be looked at is losing Chris Paul. I mean, of course, losing Bzdelik is huge. But, you know, going from CP to Westbrook is a drop-off defensively. If anything, just because CP cares about defense a lot more. I mean, obviously, Westbrook is a lot more athletic, and you can argue just because he's not as much of an injury scare, that makes him better than Chris Paul at this point. But defensively, not much of a contest. And even if CP is not the same defender, it's still the idea of he knows how to play defense. He's going to, you know, be yelling at dudes about defensive sets and rotations and all that type of thing. Westbrook's not going to do that. And that's not good, obviously. And when you combine that with Harden and the fact that this team has lost so many of the wings that made them so good a couple years ago between Ariza and Ba Moute, well, mainly those two, and now their wing rotation is basically just hoping PJ Tucker doesn't get hurt, it's not ideal. And while Capella is good and has at times has looked amazing defensively and being able to switch and things like that, he's not Gobert. He's not Tim Duncan, if you want like a little bit of a throwback. He's not going to one-man show your defense. Just not going to happen, right? So how do the Rockets fix this? They can't get Bzdelik back. He's employed by another team. He's not just chilling when they just scooped him up, whether it was last season or whatever, the way they did. So, number one, maybe there's some other defensive mastermind out there that they can take on. D'Antoni's not going to do it. I mean, even if he wants to, I don't think he's going to be able to coach defense. I mean, that guy, we know it with him, you know. And offensively, they've been great. They're 5th in the league in offense. I'm not really concerned with anything on that side of the floor until we get to the playoffs. The whole Westbrook, Harden fit, all that. But really, I don't entirely know how they fix this besides just being better at defense. I mean, if you can name me some trade that they can make after they gave up all the picks they gave up for Westbrook, then I'd love to hear it. I mean, if Iguodala wanted to come here, then that'd be something. As far as how they would make that happen, I don't know. And even then, is Iguodala fixing everything? I mean, he can make a difference, certainly, but that'd be tough. As far as the specifics of why their defense has not been good, I mean, take your pick, whether it's miscommunications where one guy thinks it's a switch and the other guy thinks it's something else, or just lack of effort on the part of maybe Westbrook or Harden. I mean, the thing with Westbrook is he'll play good defense for 15 seconds until you ask him to do the second or third thing on a possession, and then he's just going to kind of either check out or not know what to do. And in the case of Harden, I mean, he's proven to be a good post defender, but outside of that, he's James Harden. I mean, yes, I will give him credit. He's no longer the turnstile defensively on the perimeter like he once was. But if we started ranking the best defensive two guards in the league, I don't know where he ends up, but you're naming quite a few dudes before you get to him. And, I mean, look, you just go down the roster. The only good defensive players are PJ Tucker and Clint Capella. That's kind of all they have. I mean, Cephalosha's on the roster, and, I mean, at one time, that would have been really cool. But now it's not what it once was or what it could have been. Tyson Chandler, I mean, same thing. You know, if this was Tyson Chandler of like 6 years ago, all right, now we're talking. But it, of course, is not. So it's just going to have to be a team effort of getting on the same page, whether that means we're switching everything or we're switching 1 through 4, or we are going to, I don't even know, like, are they going to trap on screens? I mean, that forces you to move, but at the same time, if you're going to trap, then you need a team that's really ready to defend, and I don't think this team really wants to play defense, and I do think losing Chris Paul did not help with those things. I mean, you know, I was definitely supportive of the Westbrook thing, and I predicted these guys to get the 1 seed this season. Playoffs, different story, but I probably just overlooked the loss defensively of Chris Paul, you know? Now, I don't want to just blame Westbrook, but the defense is just completely out of whack. Whether it's not caring or just not having a game plan, those things need to be established, and I don't know who does, because I'm assuming the most vocal people on this team are Westbrook and maybe just Westbrook, because Harden, I mean, even going far back as to the Dwight Howard thing, like, Harden's just a quiet, passive-aggressive, go-with-the-flow dude. And if that's the case, I mean, what, Westbrook's going to be the dude preaching defense? I don't really know if that's going to happen. Even if it does, he's not good at defense. So how much of an effect will that really have? I don't know. Now, for all this being said, they do have 2 really good rebounders. Actually, they have multiple good rebounders. Between Capella, Russ, PJ, Harden's pretty good for a guard. So we can hope that the defensive rebounding percentages are good. We can hope that they just don't foul. We can hope that they don't turn the ball over too much. And we can also hope that they just gain a little bit of a pulse defensively. Like, if all those things happen, I think they can get to good enough on defense, which is really just the goal. I mean, this team has no chance of being an elite defense like they were the first year with CP. But just get to like 17th in defensive rating. That's all we're asking for out of this group. And I think it's possible. Now, possible and probable are 2 different things. Shout out to English teachers. So yeah, that's all I got. Rockets defense is bad.